Chat, I just remembered something from my tech support. Well, earlier today, something happened. It reminded me of this. So I got a short story time for you guys. This was back in my tech support days, okay? So, story time. I was head of the tech support department, which sounds more impressive than it really was. It was like I had 3 or 4 people under me that I was training. And I was training this one new guy. I'm getting him just set up for the day 1 of work, right? Just day freaking 1. And I'm like, all right, so this is your username. Type in right here whatever you want your password to be. He starts to type in the password. Standing next to him, right, while he's seated in the chair. And I'm looking down at him, and he's typing like this. And dude, he's in tech support. And in my head, I'm screaming. I'm just absolutely screaming. And I'm gonna explain this term for you guys that have never heard it, because if you've never heard it, this is gonna sound horrible. Okay, there's a term called hunt and peck, and what it means is it's someone who types and they have to look at the key, they hunt it down, and then they tap that key and go to the next one. So someone who's a hunt and peck typer is someone who has to stare at the keyboard and click keys one at a time and after they find them. This guy is a hunter slash, hunt and pecker. That's what he is, all right? So fast forward a few hours later, I'm giving him something else to do. And I see him just, and he types, chat, and I'm like, oh, thank God. And he's like, what? And he looks up, and I was like, you're gonna laugh at this. Earlier, you typed so slowly when I told you to put in a password. He's like, well, I was having to think about what I wanted my password to be. And I was like, oh, dude, I thought you were a hunt and pecker. I was screaming internally, and I was trying to kind of, connect with the guy, like share a joke. And he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, well, this is awkward. So, okay, fine. So fast forward another few hours. My boss comes to, he's like, I'm gonna take everyone out to eat today to celebrate John Doe's hiring. So I'm gonna take us all to, it's a place called Ted's. They served bison burgers. I had never had bison before that. By the way, fine, I wasn't wild about it. But I got to have the only bison burger I've ever had in my life that day. So my boss takes us all out to eat. We go to Ted's. There's this one point during the meal, I have taken a huge bite of food. I cannot talk in this moment. And my boss goes, so how's it going so far, John Doe? And John goes, earlier, Michael called me an incompetent pecker? And I'm like, what? No! And I'm like trying to defend myself with a mouthful of bison. And my boss just does this. Now, my boss is super Mormon. And I don't say that in a bad way. He's a super nice guy, but you do not mistreat another human being, okay? Like, you don't call names, nothing like that. And my boss does this slow, like, serial killer stare to me. And he's giving me this look, and I can see in his eyes, it says, do I have to fire you today? And I'm like, no. No, and I'm like, should I swallow this or just spit it out on the plate? I gotta defend myself now, like stat. And I'm like screaming inside. And I finally like get the food down, and I'm like, no, I said he'd used hunt and peck typing. He types like this. He hunt and peck. And like the other techs at the table were like, oh. And my boss is like, so why does he say you call? I'm like, I don't know why he says that. Like, I have no idea why he says that. And I'm like, John, I said you're a hunt and pecker. Hunt and peck means you type by looking for the keys and typing like this. I didn't call you an incompetent pecker. That's a very different thing. And he's like, oh, I guess I misheard you. And I'm like, you've been thinking for hours? I just called you that out of nowhere? And he's like, yeah, I just thought you were kind of a jerk. I was like, Jesus Christ. You are going to get me fired. Dude, so many stories related to that guy. That guy was a super nice human being with terrible hearing And he would also, he had a terrible way with words, which was not good. When people call in for tech support, they're already ticked off. You gotta be able to calm them down. It's like defusing a bomb. And he would say the worst stuff. He would say the absolute worst stuff. Like, this one day, I started writing them down. I have a list of like 700 things that John said. Anytime someone would say anything that sounded bad, I would be like, oh, adding it, and the whole room would be like, oh god, Michael's adding you to the list. And new people would be like, the list? Dude, I've still got it. But I specifically remember, I still got it. One time in his early days, he told someone, he's like, after you shut it down, I want you to shut it back up. He didn't even correct himself. He just left that hanging in the air. There was another time he told a guy, it was like he didn't hear himself. There was another time that he told somebody, he said, I think I found the problem. You're guinea pigging off of your neighbor's internet. Guinea pigging? This one took us a while to decipher, because neither the other techs or the customer had any idea what he was talking about. He was trying to say piggybacking. He was trying to say piggybacking. He was trying to say you're using your neighbor's Wi-Fi. And he told the guy you're guinea pigging, and then he just rolled with it like, you know, yeah, I'm smarter than you. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Oh, y'all know the term like got big shoes to fill? He was talking about one of his predecessors to a customer or something, and he's like, yeah, I got a long road ahead of me. I got big feats to fill.
Keep up the great streams, Mr. Pecker.
Oh no. Don't call me that. He told someone once, he's like, this is really difficult. I need you to give me some time because this is like pushing teeth. Pushing teeth. He had to be trolling. No, he literally just did this and didn't realize he said it. I have so many. To be fair, pushing teeth does sound difficult. One time he had to tell someone was like, what version am I on? We're like, tell him 8. And he turns back around and goes, this version is the most 8.0. It was a smack him in the back of the head. Dude, just say 8. Just say 8. That's fine. Oh, he needed to tell someone they were lagging, and he told them your milliseconds are too long. He said, I found the problem. I'm looking at your trace route. The milliseconds are too long. One time, he was bragging to us about how smart his wife is. And we're like, yeah, dude, we get it. You love your wife. And he's like, no, she graduated hula culati. The whole room. What? And he's like, she was hula culati. She was the top student. And then I was like, do you mean magna cum laude? And he's like, what? And I was like, magna cum laude. It's like a best in class type of thing. Hula culati. That sounds like a drink. And he's like, yeah, magna cum laude. We lost it. At this point, the whole room was just like just on the floor. Hula culati. He's just bragging about his wife. My wife's hula culati. One time he uttered the phrase, back when I was going to school, I had to walk in the snow both hills. There's a reason I started writing these down, chat. We might need to get this a little bit lesser hops. Man, some of these aren't even PG. He said one day, yeah, I'm going to visit my friend, but it's dangerous. He lives in the boondogs. And I was like, mental typo? And he's like, what? And I'm like, where did you say your friend lives? And he said, the boondogs. And I was like, docks. And he's like, dogs. And I was like, no, the word is boondocks. Not boondogs. It's boondocks. And he's like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm sure. They've got a TV show. I'm positive. I'm absolutely positive. This rice with the sauce from Kung Fu Pao Chicken is so good. Okay, so this is what your computer is doing, and what we need to do is allow that to not happen. We need to allow that to not happen. And that's gonna fix your problem. I'm gonna get my sales rep to talk to your boss and put them in their shoes. We're gonna put your boss in their shoes. If you need any more help today, please give this call a number. 5. Okay, I think this one he was talking to some person who got angry, and then he ended up getting transferred to like her boss or something, and he uttered the phrase, "It's one of those things where she just has to get over it." I'm pretty sure I had to take the phone and smooth that one over. It's one of those things where she's gonna have to get over it. You're on a desktop, so it's pretty self-explanatory that it's working. Oh, are you on Chicago time? What do you mean what? Are you on Chicago time? Are you? Oh, Central time, I'm sorry. Like, he was practically yelling at that point. I guess your next step is learn how to send a fax. This guy said this stuff completely unfazed. Completely unfazed. Dude, he was great to listen to. He was not great to cover for. I went ahead and changed your computer over to maximum power saving. Ma'am, I think you're doing a step that shouldn't be done. That one is a special place in my heart. One day he told a new Mac user, it's gonna take some time to getting. We're gonna have to wait until 13 a.m. I don't know if that was military time or if that's anything. I'm surprised you're using a Mac. People usually stick with PC. Now, I gotta say, I think that on the daily. I never just said it like that. Is Aki AFK? Aki's not moving. Stuck? I will try to let you downstate if I can. I'm gonna stop healing Aki on purpose. Okay, now I'm gonna search and rescue him. Alright, can you move now? I think he can move now, chat. I think we fixed him with the power of knocking him out. We turned him off and on again. As John would say, we shut him down and then we shut him back up, chat.